Olá, boa noite. Live from my kitchen.
Boa noite.
Boa noite, tudo bem?
Tudo bem.
All right.
All right.
How are you doing? How's it going there?
We're doing very well. He's off. He's had enough. Yeah, I think he's got a bad case. He's got a bad case of squints, and he has to keep exiting and squints. It's been a rough week.
I do. Lovely's my favourite.
Right.
He's back again, but I don't know how long for.
Let me just check in with you. Wish you a happy new year. How was your Christmas? How's it all going so far in 2025?
Yeah. Well, I didn't say anything, can I? Really, it's all like, hang on, hold in there. But so far, so good.
Of course, you started
6 days in. It is the year.
Around.
Look, it began with WTF anyway. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, the first, second, and third. So it is going to be interesting, isn't it? It's going to be an interesting year, it would appear. And thank you very much for being here for the first Good Morning Portugal Wine Club of this year. And some might say we might need a drink from time to time. And here we are every first Monday of the month. And we are boxing clever. See what I did there. Oh, where's my jingle? Yes, the drum, the rim shot was the first one I reached for. And thank goodness it was not the ring for me. So
this early as well. Before
in the year.
Johnny Cocktail joining us in just a moment, but so you're doing all well and good there over in Alviagra.
Yeah, we're all breathing. We're all in one piece. Just
we're well done. One more day above ground, as the Portuguese say.
Yeah, one more sunshine.
Yeah.
Wonderful. One more day above ground. What a cheerful bunch. What a cheerful bunch. And may I say,
all right, really.
Terence Austin, you are the very picture of sartorial elegance there. Thank you for dressing up. Or were you in court earlier on this afternoon?
Well, funny you should say.
Yeah, but he's in his underpants here.
He's sat in his underpants. Fantastic.
No, I just thought, well, I've missed a couple, so I thought I'd better show some deep respect.
Too bloody
show something deep anyway. And you know, sort of like make a bit of an occasion of it, because I know that we're kicking off the year with a bit of a start, and I know that we've got some box wines to talk about, and I like your little pun about boxing.
Yeah, see what I did there?
Yeah, got that one.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, make the effort. So here I am, making the effort.
You looking fabulous, and I think that is a value or an ideal for the year, isn't it? To make men's fashion great again.
I tell you what, you're right, because standards are falling all over the place.
Yeah,
you know. Yeah, and I think it's time that we actually made an effort, because in Portugal we're so accustomed to being relaxed, laid back. And we get into this like time warp of going back almost 30 years. Yeah.
What's fashion?
Well, you've seen what he's wearing.
What's fashion?
So I think we need to sort of pick it up a bit, remind ourselves that we're still, we've still got something to say in the fashion state.
Does this mean I can wear my geezer leather jacket?
Why not?
The gangster one.
Yeah. I think what Terence is basically saying, to put it in a simple one-liner, is he'll be eschewing and refusing to succumb to elasticated trousers for one more year yet. Is that right?
I think that's perhaps a particularly cruel and abrupt way of putting it, but probably a lot nearer the truth than my babbling.
I hope you didn't get any for Christmas. All right. Well, you look fabulous. So thank you for making the effort. Really appreciate that. I don't know what this comment means. It's a tart's handbag. Is that a box wine? Is a tart's handbag? Does it double up? Maybe that is.
Whether he's talking about anybody on the screen or what?
Yeah, I wonder. Okay. And Happy New Year, everyone. Looking forward to another of trying new wines. That's the spirit, Mike and Karen.
Yes.
And thank you for your earlier.
No pun intended there.
Thanksgiving pants, they're known as in the United States.
You're eating pants.
All right. Or poorly pants, duvet day pants. Anyway, let's bring... I have some applause here. Yes! Johnny Cocktail also joining us, embracing the wet. All right, calm down, everyone. That'll do. Johnny, great to see you here. How are you? And how was your Christmas?
My Christmas was great. I am well. I'm happy to be here. And I just think that Terrence in his underwear is why he was in court.
He thought he put it behind him. We all thought he put it behind him. But
he puts it behind him.
I missed that one because it's hiding behind a sign.
If he puts it behind him, that's another offense. Yeah, it's another charge. Yeah.
Yes, okay.
All you have to do is
keep it up. Keep it up, Terrence. What I'm sure the judge didn't say to you. Right. Okay. And very happy New Year. Buon anno nuovo to you, John. Your first New Year's Eve, New Year's celebration in Portugal, I'm guessing.
No, I've wrapped around. So but we didn't. I don't know if I participated in January, but here I am nonetheless.
Right. Okay. All right. And definitely embracing the wet. I saw this meme recently. This was published on the 1st of January by the Smuggler's Return. Is it me or is dry January dragging on a bit? And that's how it feels for some people. And we're only a day. If you are doing it in all seriousness, and I think maybe the Whitbys are, so should we give them a nice big round of applause? Thank you, Johnny. Thank you, Clan Austin. Let's bring the Whitbys on. There they are. Hello to you, Miguelinho Icat. Gets me every time that, Michael. The royal wave. You're very good at it. Did you learn that in the Scouts?
No, I learnt it in the roller. Actually.
Of course you did. But I thought the Queen always had somebody else kneeling down under the window doing that for her.
There's a little hand that goes like that.
Yeah.
It's one of the things you could buy from the shops that used to.
Yeah, definitely. Are you partaking of dry January?
Yes, we are. However, I'm going to taste and spit, as one should do in a tasting.
Roll call, maybe. Okay.
Because we have two, let's call them box wines. I have two wines. One that we normally have sitting on the back shelf all the time.
Yep.
When you just want to grab a glass. And Catherine couldn't find it the last time she was at the store, so she bought another one. They call it a Vino Original Teju, which that's stretching it. They maybe buy the grapes there. They certainly don't make it there. So
okay, that's enough.
Anyway, so we're going to partake of that and give you. And then, of course, there's always the ultimate box wine.
Oh, the can. Hold on a minute. Let me just zoom into you there. It's the mini box. The mini box. Okay, yeah. This is what isn't that what Portuguese children have in their lunch boxes?
No. I would have it in my lunch box at work if I knew I could get them for a $1.25. No, these are $2.50s. My God, it's a third of a bottle. No, I have these. I have these in the white.
As of £1 something.
We use them for
80 cents.
Amazing.
That was just over £1.
Yes, 90 cents or something.
This is battle of the mini boxes. Let's go to the Austin clan. Hold right.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
Fight.
You've got the fancy one.
Fancy one, right? Okay. Is that
do they come with a little straw that you poke in it?
It does. It's got a hole in the top for the straw. Look at that.
I think you just swallow the whole. Yeah, throw it in.
Yeah, like Popeye eating spinach. Yes, definitely. Very good. Okay, well, thank you for joining us. So you are. It is strictly wine tasting approach tonight. Just the tasting. You're not going to be fully imbibing. Just gustating.
Can give you a report on a cup of tea.
I've got a cup of tea going.
Oh, very good. Okay. Well, Kat, good evening to you as well. Thank you. And your artwork, superb. Thank you very much. The note you dropped me before Christmas with your delightful confectionery. I then looked at the Iberian Lynx illustration, and that's your work, which is very beautiful. Is that a piece of the cake? Oh, my word.
This is the penultimate piece, and there's the ultimate piece.
We just had our neighbors come and do the Janeras, the Cantar de Janeras. You know what that is?
Singing in January. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so they warned us that it was going to be doing that. So we quickly looked up what does that mean, and it means you have to give them. They come and sing at your house, and you have to give them chocolates and money and wine and treats. So
we missed the money part.
Yeah,
you didn't fall for that one, did you?
Yeah.
That's right. Who are the new people in the village?
The newcomers.
Yeah. Well, they got the bottle of wine we would have been drinking.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Well, nice to see you. And good for them. Well, that is so delicious. It's a beautiful, beautiful cake. What would you call it? How would you describe it? I call it
it's a confectionery kind of, It's a Panforte is the name. It's from Italy, Panforte di Siena. Yeah. And it was invented by the nuns in Siena in the 1100s to send off, to sell to people going on the Crusades, because it kept in their saddlebags for a long, long, long time. It doesn't go up.
I can see that, and it's a good way of getting British teeth as well, isn't it? It's pretty tough on the teeth, isn't it? So
I think the local dentists always like to see it coming out.
Have you had some of Kat's cake? Yes. Well, come in.
We had some, and it was really, really tasty.
Really nice, wasn't it? Some of us had to
Johnny.
Yeah, really, really, really enjoyed that. So thank you very much for that. Right. And maybe we'll come back and talk to you about the dry January thing, because I think we've all had goes on and off, haven't we? Some for just a few hours, some for a whole year. So we might talk about that later on. We might not, Johnny? So let's begin then in the Austin household. And was it your idea, Gary? Because you are a long-standing fan of the wine box, are you not?
I think I'm the only one. I'm the only one that's ever done a box of wine before. If you remember, I think it might be the one you've got, the Saupierge.
Saupierge, absolutely, yeah. Well, I haven't got that. I think it was eye-catching. It's quite hilarious, isn't it, that the wine will be called Saupierge. And I got something else, as it turns out. But I think we did try that the first time round, and it's good to revisit. So it was Michael. It was you, was it, who chose this as an idea for tonight?
It was Catherine suggested it.
Okay. All right. Excellent. So what have you got in the Austin household? How did you rise to this occasion? And I love your spread as well there.
We're going for a local boy.
A local one?
Yeah. A local boy.
All right.
Two blackbirds, I think it's called.
Okay. Right. Very nice. Yes. A nice bit of graphic design there.
Mate, just up the road. What's the name of the place? Fraser. Which is just as you go down into the Desert Valley.
Right.
So probably about 10 minutes away from here, smarter.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And is it the first time you've tried it, or is it a regular tipple for you?
No, it's widely available in the cafes and restaurants around here. It's your standard table wine, really.
Is it? And does it live by your cooker? Is that where you just went and picked it up from? Is that where it lives?
Well, no, I don't tend to have box wines because, as we've discussed in the past, they're rather dangerous, aren't they, to have?
They are, yeah, because you don't know how much you've had, and you're thinking, well, I'll just finish it off tonight because it can only be a little bit left in there. It's quite dangerous. And they don't make it in a transparent bag with a little window on the cardboard box, which would be quite helpful. I think it's all part of the psychology of it. So tell us about this one then, if you will, the two blackbirds. Let's go around your table. Let's first talk to Terence Austin about, we'll go from left to right. What do you make of it?
Well, thanks for the question, because I haven't tasted it and I've never had it before, so I'm going to have to ad-lib here a little bit.
Awesome. If I could zoom in any further, I would.
Do a live taste.
Live taste.
No pressure or anything.
Yeah, no pressure, absolutely. Right? A gustation.
He chokes himself now.
So I don't know whether should we do the smell?
Definitely. How is it on the hooter? How is it on the hooter, Terence?
On my hooter, it's a fruity
hooter.
Quite a bit of oakiness. Smells dry. And it smells like wine. The red
Wow,
variety.
okay, that's a great start.
So
Very
let's go in for the taste. Right. Does anybody want to do a bit of talking while I just taste?
Linda.
No, we want to hear all the swearing.
Over to you, Linda.
I've got my mouth.
Linda's just taking a bite of cheese as well now.
It is the favourite wine of Casa Benfica down the road. That's where first had it.
Right, okay, which is the football fan cafe, right?
Well, I'm not a football fan, but it's our local cheap price eatery. So,
and what will they be paying for a glass of that down there? If they're in the cafe and they're having Bifana, are they paying €1 for a glass of this?
Yeah, it's pleasant. It's very drinkable. It'll go with pork. It will go with red meats, cheeses. Won't fight anything. It's like a good soulmate, really. It's not too sweet, but sweet enough for me.
Yeah.
It reminds me a bit of the Alentejo type wines with their thickness and veracity, and strength. But all in all, it's fairly pleasant. How much was this?
About £7, €7 something.
€7 something.
So it works out to be about just over, what was it, €1?
€1.
€1 bucket.
€1 a bottle.
It's all right.
A bottle of it. That's how much you would charge.
Because you would get 5 bottles in that box.
I tell you what,
Seven
bottles.
7 litres in there.
Yeah, if you'd paid more for this,
no,
you wouldn't moan, would you? No. So it's really quite drinkable and pleasant.
I can taste a bit of blackcurrant as well. Yeah. I think right at the end.
It's quite jammy, isn't it, when you first get in there?
Right, very good. Okay, so it's going down well. The 2 blackbirds. If we could have another screenshot at your leisure, don't need to get up and run for it now. But okay, fair enough. Anything else you want to say about the 2 blackbirds? Can we have that in Portuguese, maybe?
Meloira.
Meloira, okay.
Meloira.
Like Blackbird Cottage almost, isn't it?
2 blackbirds. Sitting on a fence.
A couple of blackbirds. That's the literal translation. A couple of blackbirds.
Yeah. Well, it's not bad, is it? I don't think I could drink a lot of it because I might get a bit fed up after a bit. But
you'd be surprised. There's a lot there.
A bit perfumey.
You just get your head down there and open the tap, you'll be right.
Yeah.
Maybe that was the description.
It's all right. It's good.
Okay. Very good.
Very.
Thank you very much.
He's got the fingers out now.
A little bit of cherry.
He's going to do cherry in there. You watch. He's going to do this in a minute.
Oh,
quite dry.
Yeah,
but pleasant.
Right. You were looking like a stage psychic for a moment there, weren't you? It's like
you're at the back. You've got an antenna. Yeah, you're at the back. You've got an auntie.
Look into my eyes. Look into my eyes.
You've got an auntie Jean, haven't you?
Yeah.
Okay. Psychic
she used
wine
to be a
tasting.
man, didn't she? It was your uncle, wasn't it?
Well, we didn't know that
nuts and oranges.
Okay. All right, hold those nuts because we're going to move on to Johnny Cocktail now. Johnny, how did you rise to this occasion? The boxed wine special of the Good Morning Portugal Wine Club.
First of all, 2025 is going to be a year of many firsts, and this is the first boxed wine that I've purchased in my 15 months.
Cool.
No, it's true.
Wow.
But this isn't going to be a first because you know my proclivities, and I am an ambassador for the brand. So, surprise.
Of course. There you go.
You're the man.
Melinda.
Yeah, Melinda.
In fact, this is one of the wines or one that I presented during the wine under €3. Mm-hmm. And so I had the Rosario is the off-label from Ermelinda, and I bought a regular bottle and the Reserva. The spread was about 60 cents. This is the lower of it. It was about $2.19, $2.39 for that bottle. And I got 3 liters today for €6.50. So, yeah.
Wow. Yes. Yeah.
And so, and also it was a test for me because I did taste this last month, but I'm about to leave tomorrow morning and I'll be gone for about 8 days. I'll miss you. And I'm going to see, when I come back, I want to see how it stands up to being missed.
It'll be waiting for you.
Yeah, to being away, because my understanding is that it will last a very long time, which is rare for wine around here that's been opened. But I want to see how it performs when I come back and we're reunited. And I do appreciate the convenience, the little spout.
Yeah.
For quick dispensing. You made comment from the clan about how dangerous it can be. Yeah, yes. This could be in my nightstand. And
a quick rinse before bedtime.
Or a good morning when I wake up. And, I frequently would wake up during the middle of a night of sleep. And so this might, help me coast back into, a slumber. We'll see. But here I am, Mr. Ambassador for Ermelindo. I'm waving a flag.
Very good. It pairs very nicely with chewing tobacco as well, apparently, if you have that on your nightstand as well. Or even out on the porch.
Not since high school. No, and so this is a Castellao, it's Touriga Nacional, Syrah, and Cab Sauv. So, it's what I'd expect from them. It's a nice blend. It's well-rounded. It's very drinkable, or as we say around here, it's fine. So it just it's an easy drinker, and
there you go.
I'm glad I got it.
Very good. Okay, and we'll come back to your particular tasting of it in a little while. And yes, very interesting talking about the plumbing of it. I opened my box earlier on.
Are we still talking about wine?
We are still talking about wine. Let me finish, because I was really impressed with the jet. When I sprayed the chunk of lamb that I've got in my casserole pot, you might actually, in the yellow pot behind me, there's a big piece of lamb in there. And I started off with some other remnants of red wine, and I thought I need a bit more red wine in there. So I opened the box that I've got this evening. I'll talk about in just a moment. It's the Alentejo from Intermarché, their own brand, Alentejo DOC Tinto. And when I first gave it the first jet, it was incredible. It was like a crime scene. The jet was so strong with those 3 liters at full pressure inside the foil bag. It sprayed all over the splashback onto the white tiles, and it looked like a murder scene in here. So I was very impressed with that jet. Quite envious, in fact. Pete also here tonight. Good evening, you fantastic folks. Melinda is really nice, and he's chuffed to see you celebrating the baby Jesus, you Austins, during the festive season. Watch out, he says as well. There appears to be an elderly mouse on your table eating up the baby. Is that right? Oh, yes, over on the left of the screen there. Yes, definitely. Good to see you, Pete. You're not drinking tonight. Are you having a dry January, or are you in Japan, or what's going on for you at the moment, Peter? And I've also got a picture of Mike and Karen's. And yes, now it's been mentioned, it's their first boxed wine bought here in Portugal as well. I've got a picture of a cheese for some reason. I'm sure I downloaded your picture earlier on. Yes, I did. Contemporal. That's what we've got for the Bartons. Their first boxed wine here in Portugal. And it's white. They're drinking white tonight. Contemporal. So let us know how that goes. And if you want to send a selfie picture of you both smiling over the top of those 3 liters, that would be lovely to see as well. And we were talking about cheese, weren't we? Last time. Just a quick note, because I just saw this picture. A lovely post from Salt of Portugal. 4,784 cheeses from 47 countries competed in the, I think that says the 36th annual edition of the World Cheese Awards. The winner was the Serra da Estrela cheese, produced by Sonia. Definitely going to have to zoom in now. Forgive me. Let me just blow the screen up a little bit. Here we go. Sonia Marayo should know that already by now. At Quinta do Pomar, the world is beginning to appreciate the exquisite Serra cheese, and there it is on the plate there. We talked a lot about that last time, but isn't that amazing? Against that sort of competition from 47 countries and 4,784 cheeses, the Portuguese won that one at the 36th annual edition of the World Cheese Awards. So well done again, Portugal, on that. Right, let me just move that out of the way. And is there anything else you want to say, Johnny, about your particular box? Should we come back
I passed to the dry people, to the spitters. I passed to the spitters. Yeah.
To the spitters we go. So tell us a little bit about your thinking behind your dry January. Then was it a hellish December?
Yeah,
it was a tough December. You know, it used to be when I was working, Christmas was always a really bad time. You know, I worked for a mining company, and Christmas and New Year were big party times. So it was always great to take a rest in January and just let your liver catch up, you know.
Very good.
Plus, we also have had back-to-back house guests from September.
Yeah.
So, and, you know, swanning them around includes, you know, in Portugal, includes going
out for dinners, and it's always a lot of wine.
Yeah.
And then we were at Christmas in Sevilla. My brother and sister-in-law didn't show up for Christmas, so we ended up going to visit one of our guests from earlier in December in Sevilla and spent Christmas with them. Well, they love wine and eating. So when we got back, my plan was to lose the 4 kilos I put on in December.
Wow.
Yeah. And the fastest way is to stop drinking alcohol.
Yeah, fair enough. Really appreciate you being here tonight, because I think a lot of people would just not wanted to be anywhere near alcohol to help their effort. And clearly you've got a lot of willpower. And in the interest of wine tasting here in Portugal, you're going to tell us about your selection. Before you do, how was that comparison of Portuguese culture and Spanish culture? What was that like being in Sevilla?
We haven't lived in a big city in Portugal, so it's hard to tell. But I mean, you know, obviously the 24th is the big day for Christmas. It's the same here, I think, isn't it? That's when everybody gives their gifts. They have the big family dinners and everything on the 24th. We had a heck of a job finding anywhere to eat that night, but we did. And even at that, there were a lot of people out on the streets having fun. All the bars were all open, but finding somewhere to eat was another story. Right. And the whole time we were there, I mean, you could barely get a seat in a restaurant in Sevilla. It was amazing.
The Spaniards celebrate, I would say, probably more aggressively than the Portuguese.
Typical.
And there was a lot of out on the street, all hours, and we were right down by the Mushrooms in Sevilla, which is a public gathering place. So we were
tons of bars.
Yeah.
It sounds like an experience.
It was fun, but it's not the same as being at home.
Yeah.
Very interesting. And today, of course, very special. The 12th night, the day of the Three Kings in Spain. That's when they exchange their presents today, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we just had our neighborhood, Cantar de Janeiros, which happens. It didn't happen. We were not aware of it when we lived in Spain. In other parts of Portugal, but certainly is a big deal here. So our neighbors came and sang to us, and we haven't seen that before.
That is beautiful, isn't it? Yeah, very good. Excellent. And you gave him a little gift as well, which is lovely. Did you make your wishes and eat your grapes, incidentally? Or if in Portugal, raisins? Did you not do that?
For New Year's, the 12 raisins. We didn't do it.
Yeah.
No. No, okay. We were kind of partied out by New Year's, to tell you the truth. So we'll have to pick that one up next year.
All right, very good. Yeah, I mixed it up, some grapes and some blueberries to get the kids interested in that. Bonoit from JMC. Good to see you, JMC. Thank you for joining us. And Nubia Net, our lovely friend Nubia Net in California. Great to see you as well. How are you doing, Nubia Net? Right. So tell us about your particular. It sounds like it might be a bit of a favorite, and that's how it works with the wine box, isn't it? You keep it in the kitchen. It's good for cooking. It's good to have a little taster. And you're not feeling like you're having to open a whole bottle. You can just have a little drawer from the box, right?
Yeah, it just sits. There's one little shelf. In fact, it's right behind my head, and that gap in there, the open part.
That's the box
fits
wine
perfectly there.
Yeah.
And if you don't feel like opening a bottle and you just want a glass of wine with dinner,
or you finish a bottle between the two of you, and you each want one more glass, you can just go.
That works.
Another one. Yeah, Johnny was laughing at me when I said you don't want. Who doesn't want to open a bottle, right, Johnny?
I've been in the the mindset of just another glass would be fine. So yes, I embrace the box factor.
Yeah, the box top up.
So one thing though you learn as professional drinkers,
yes,
is you at the start of the evening you take an empty wine bottle and you decant your box wine into a bottle, and that's how you regulate how much you're drinking.
Now you know
it's way too easy.
Yes.
Yeah, one time we had a box of wine here, and I forget, it was a lot of people here, and they were drinking, we were drinking. We found a 3-liter box was gone in 2 nights.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a bottle each, which is a lot of wine for a person for a night. So, but it went down so easy, and it was a long evening, and before we knew it, 2 nights we drank a 3-liter box.
So the point is, if you use a wine bottle as a decanter, you have a measuring system.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. Very good takeaway from tonight.
You have to empty that bottle first. So
yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Very good. Okay. So what's a particular brand that you've got there?
Well, there's 2.
but the one that we like.
The one that Johnny will like is this one.
The Ermelinda.
Okay. Back to Ermelinda. Yeah. Okay.
And this,
nice.
This one's the one above the one Johnny's got there. This is from the Freitas area, and this is actually grown in Fernando de Po.
I used to like it.
So the grapes come from Fernando de Po, which is in it's actually about the east end of Stubble, and they tell you what's in it. It's got Castellao, Touriga Nacional, Syrah, and Cab, and it's a very, very smooth wine. And it's the only one we buy. We've tried several. We got into drinking box wines back in 2004 when we were sailing in Chile. They were already putting even the good wines. We bought Castelero de Diablo, which is one of the best of the Torres wines down there. And we could buy it in liter boxes, and it worked perfectly for stowing it in a sailboat.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, unbreakable, pretty much.
And way lighter than carrying 2 cases of bottles. So
very good, very good.
So
Johnny, you wanted to add at that point, didn't you? Did you want to add a little note there?
Well, I just want to pass back over to the spitters. And what was the price point for your box, and what is the volume?
This box is $10.99. It's a 3-liter box, so you're talking $2.75 a bottle, which is not inexpensive.
So on my little here, it's the same varietals and the same source.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah. And for $6.49, I'd expect that there's a difference. I don't think you're being upsell, and I'm just gleaning a bargain. But they also, I'd have gone where you went if it was available. But this is what if I'm carrying 3 liters of wine, I'm getting it from the closest place, and this is from the closest place.
Yeah.
Well, this has lots of fruit in the nose. I mean, it's properly wine. I mean, there's, I'd say, plums and cherries. I mean, it's really got a nose on
it.
Let's zoom in for the spit.
Yeah.
And it's got a reasonable amount of acid on it. Very pleasant in the mouth. I mean, it just drinks like a €4 bottle of wine. There's nothing wrong with it. Really a good wine. The other one we have, and Catherine picked this up because they were sold, Intermarché was sold out of the Ermelinda. This was before Christmas sometime. Well, this one will take us a long time. This is a 5-liter box, and we don't exactly love it.
No. It's drinkable, but definitely not.
Zoom in. Hold it where you are, then, Michael.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Alentejo.
they say the grapes are from the Tejo, but it's, Cartaccio is, I think Cartaccio is near Santarem, and that's, I looked it up. This is where they actually make this. It's a cooperativo, and they buy from all over the place. Well, this one, can I have the glass, please? Oh no, this is,
Okay. Well,
which is the one?
I don't know. Your glasses.
Did I put that one there? I did.
Yes, you did.
So I've already poured a glass of this to let it breathe because it needs it.
Yeah.
This one has
Capital of red wine. Well, hold on. What's going on here? Capital of red wine. I would have thought that would be the Alentejo. But anyway, JMC, add more to that if you will, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
Tricandaira, Tinto Ruiz, and Syrah in this one.
I think the commercial wines come mainly from that sort of region. Along the Tejo there.
On the north side.
North side of the Tejo.
Just south of Santarem.
Yeah.
I mean, they do what they do very well. They make bulk wines to good quality, and feed the market. And a reasonable price. So, what more can you say?
Yeah, I get almost nothing in the nose. What do you?
Yeah, it's not very fruity.
It's not very odoriferous.
It's a good word. Odoriferous.
There's not really too much in it, is there? Not near as much.
No,
A bit of river
I
water.
don't think so.
Definitely a bit of river water. Yeah.
I can't smell anything.
I'd say it's a little high in tannin.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can taste, you can feel the
And not a ton of fruit. So, if they gave you this for a euro or for a giant glass in the cafe, you wouldn't complain.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure is what it's good for.
Yes.
And I noticed Johnny was very bad in his spigot maintenance. This is the way you do it.
nice and clean.
All right, can we compare spigots, please?
Johnny, get your tap right, mate. Get your tap right.
Close up of your spigot, John. Yeah. That's rough. That's a desperate.
That's maltreating your box.
You look like a desperate drinker there, John.
Nobody likes a floppy tap.
I can find my spigot in the dark.
And see the evidence in the morning. Yeah.
With both hands.
Yeah.
Cartaccio is the capital of red wine, JMC is telling us. Thanks for joining us tonight. Capital of red wine. They do a festival especially for it every year, Cartaccio. Yes. Very good. Okay. So the not so impressed but perfectly drinkable cafe wine with the second one.
And it worked out at 165 a bottle.
Can't be bad, can it? Now, Cartaccio is not to be confused with Cartuja, is it?
No.
Which is an Alentejo brand. Yeah. Okay, just point of order there, Chairman. Okay, very good. Anything else you want to say about those two? You're very happy to have them both in the house, presumably. They are keepers.
We probably won't.
No, we'll never buy that.
We will probably just stick with the Ermelinda as our house box.
Okay, all right. So in terms of snog, marry, or avoid, the second one is an avoid, and it's a marry probably for the Ermelinda, right? A keeper.
Yeah, a bit of a snog with it. That's it.
Yeah.
My little Rosario checks in at €62 a bottle.
Yeah.
Can't be bad, can it? Can't be bad.
Yeah. I want to just see if it tastes. I can't imagine.
Even if you just want to make sangria, you're in.
Yeah, definitely. That's a good use case, good reference point, isn't it? Sangria, cafe wine. We've got a few different benchmarks there. I want to zoom in now, if I may, on Terence Austin, who's been very quiet this evening, beautifully dressed, sipping quietly, elegantly, and a little bit, I don't know, did I pick up a slight offence at the idea of a boxed wine earlier on? How is it? Is it growing on you?
No. I actually am a great fan of boxed wines because it's quite utilitarian.
Yes.
Utilitarian.
Yeah. Okay.
They're useful. They don't go off. I mean, they live in the box a fair amount of time. They're convenient. If you get a big group of people, you can always wheel out the box. If you're short on, a few bottles, they really make up. They're a good background sort of alternative. So really, I don't really have a lot of bad to say about box wines, because I think we're genuinely quite harsh on them because they are box wines. But really, this isn't too bad. And the differences between this and good wines, a lot of people would say, there's a massive difference. There isn't really, in terms of price, finish, taste, tannins, etc. There's not a massive difference. And so really, I think
blind tasting would be interesting. Yeah, blind tasting would be interesting, wouldn't it? Because when you see it come from a box, it changes your perception for sure, doesn't it?
I think so. I think when we're out there sort of looking around and we look at the labels on bottles and we think, yeah, that looks tasty. And how many times have we've sort of grabbed a bottle and brought it home, just bought it on what the picture looks like on the label. I'm guilty. And then you're trying to convince yourself that it's a good flavour.
And it tastes
a good it tastes like a bag of carpet sweepings, really. So really, I think we're quite cruel on box wines. And the great thing about Portugal is the box wines are really quite good. This one is very, very agreeable, acceptable. You could have a great party with this. You could have a few friends around and the drinks would flow and you'd have a great night with this. At not a lot of bucks, which was about €7 or €8.
No, €7
for 5 litres. This is just bargain basement prices. So, everybody should dip their bread really in this.
Well, let's be honest, right? Your average Portuguese guy will go and have his lunch and have a glass of this, right? And feel perfectly happy. And it's their staple. And as long as we keep it in that frame and know it's the everyday table wine, going to break the bank, but it's good enough, then that's it, guys.
Don't have great expectations, and it will exceed your expectations normally. So I'm really quite a big fan.
And if you are having that party, it can flow, can't it? If you've got like 3, 5, 7 litres in a box, you can put it on the side there. You can also tell a lot about your guests in the way that they deal with the spigot, as we found out earlier on. It's like a psychological test, isn't it, for how they approach opening the box in the first place.
Let me at it! Spigot crap. Yeah, I sense a lot of impatience in Johnny on that one, really.
I don't think he bothers with a glass. I think he just punctures it and sticks the straw in.
Well, it's funny you should say that. They're nothing new. I found this article from a website called enafragments.com. 5 Portuguese boxed wines that are worth trying right now. The rapid adoption of unconventional packaging in the wine industry. I think there's going to be more of this, isn't there? Water's going this way. I've seen a second, as well as that wonderful Algarve water, whose name I forget now, the alkaline one.
Monchique,
that's right. I saw another manufacturer has gone to the box system. And I think we're going to see more of this in the wine world. So it says it is the new generations of customers. That'll be it as well, won't it? Who are more open to innovation and sensitive to environment and sustainability issues that are shaping this growing trend. The idea of carrying liquids in bags dates back many centuries. In ancient times, which I guess I'm just thinking of nightclubs in Sheffield, people carrying liquids in their bags. In ancient times, flexible containers made of goat skin were already used to store wine. Over the course of the 20th century, the system involving a bag inside a box complemented by a tap to dispense the liquid, the spigot, was gradually developed. And I'd like to go back to you, Terence, because it's a canvas as well, isn't it? This is like the vinyl album sleeve of the wine world. You've got a lovely canvas to do something on there. And I've got to say, some of the pictures and graphics that we've seen have been very disappointing when you've got that wonderful space there to do something incredible and print it over and over again. Some of those are very jolly. Some of the ones we've seen tonight are not.
Very, very good point, which is one I particularly enjoy, being a fairly visual person.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm asking you.
You know, when we go back to the days of vinyl and those wonderful album covers of the 70s and the the 80s and even the 60s, right the way through, a big tradition. Why isn't it transferred in that sense onto these, like you say, great canvases?
It's a great opportunity, isn't it?
You know, I mean, there's a lot left to be sort of, I think, desired in this area. Yeah. And it's like a space. It's an advertising space which they do not really get hold of a great deal, because that's a fairly sorry collection of visuals, really.
You did some wine labels, didn't you?
Yeah.
Some artwork for the wine labels, which were really I thought quite good, to be honest.
Dear old Chris, who's passed on now, used to work with him quite a lot on wine labels. And so I know a little bit about this. And, you know, you've got to interest somebody with something, you know, to draw them in. As it sort of, you're up against a lot of competition, and you've got to, like, you know, smack them with something that makes them stop for 3 seconds and then approach. And a lot of these boxes are very samey, very sort of mundane, conservative in a bad way. You know, because you can have conservative design which works. Yes. But really, would I stop and look at any of those? They look a bit cheap and cheerful. I mean, a lot of it, I'm looking at 50% of that is kind of beige, you know, sort of brown paper packing.
It's cardboard.
And I mean, that's a bad effect, isn't it? You know,
it is. It's a wasted opportunity.
Let's also consider that when you're at the grocery store, you're not seeing the broad side of the box. You're seeing the narrow side. And so the opportunity to have an eye-catching display may be diminished. So that's the marketing side of it. But in the ecological side of it, I just read that, you know, Portugal, 70% of their energy consumption came from renewable resources. So they have that mindset. And, you know, if you consider a case of wine that's in bottles, all the empty space that's in there, they're round bottles in a rectangular box, but now you've got wine full in a rectangular box, and it's a box and there's no glass and it's lighter. It costs, it's easier to ship. It costs less to ship. It costs less probably to make. So I think for the wine producers, there's also a cost benefit, and as well as being in bulk, and they can send out 3 liters in this instead of 4 bottles, which I couldn't do this so easily with 4 bottles. So, you know, there are a lot of consideration into how this is brought to the consumer. And yes, I would like to, I mean, I could, if this was what Terrence wants, I could see me with a box cutter, you know, just cutting these out and papering my wall in my apartment with all these pretty labels and pretty sides of boxes.
Why not? Because back in the day, it was the labels on a lampshade, wasn't it? You could do a lot more with these. I think you could cover a lot of space.
Well, our friend Steve, right? I mean, this just goes to show that this is the thin end of the wedge as far as boxes are concerned. Right? We've got 3 liters, 5 liters. You can get 10 liters, and our friend Steve, how much is his box?
10 liters.
10 liters, but you can buy 25 as well if you really got a thirst on.
Really?
Yes.
You've got a thirst on, or a party maybe, right?
Makes it easy to be a host. Yeah.
Wow, 25-liter wine box. That's a 2-man job, though, isn't it?
That's half a fuel tank full, really, isn't it? If you think about it.
It is. Wow. Okay. Is this the future then? Is that what we're saying here? That eventually all wine will be sold this way? I mean, that's unthinkable, isn't it? But it's possible. Michael, not having it. No,
it won't happen. We were drinking box wines in 2000 in South America. I mean, Mexico had a few when we passed through Mexico. Peru had a couple. But when we got to Portugal in 2004, I would say half the shelves were covered in box wine. They were all liter boxes. Mm-hmm. There were a couple of 750s, but most of them were liter boxes. And it was all to do with the cost of packaging. And the locals, they had no recycling. So the locals could buy a 1 liter. They didn't have to worry about the glass that was being used. They don't want to buy bottles in. And as I said, we were drinking Castellero de Diablo, the Cabernet Reserva, and it tasted probably better than coming out of a bottle. Zero chance of corkage, you know,
yes.
no air in the box. Perfect, you know.
And yet, because that technology does work well, it collapses, doesn't it, as you pour the wine? What about the airing or the opening? You can't do that, can you? Or do you not need to? Is that what you're saying, Michael? You don't.
You don't need to. The gravity just collapses the bag. But when we were clearing up back home, we had 50 gallons of wine that we ended up giving away to friends, and we kept about 20 gallons at home. But the rest of it we started giving away to friends. Some people we gave cases. But I had wine that was only 2 years old, still in the fermenters, and we just said to our friends, give us wine bags, and we'll fill them for you.
From your box wine, we'll fill them for you, and you can.
So just pull the spigots off, and you can get them off, you can work them off, clean them out as if we were cleaning the bottle, and then fill them up, fill it with wine, and just bleed all the air out and give it to them, and they stuck them in a cardboard box. And we went to a friend's house about a month after we'd given her it, and I said, how did you like the wine? She said, well, I haven't tasted it yet. So we had some, and it just tasted fantastic.
The toilet all night.
That's very, very interesting. What's that, Gary?
You know, I mean, it's... People laugh at having wine in a tin. I hate the idea of that.
No.
But it's a plastic lined tin. It's no worse than this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay. Very interesting. It's all about.
How do we feel about the twist top wine that we were now seeing? No corks. It's just you do that.
No. Best. The French would love to be able to put every single bottle of wine they make with a screw cap.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Zero spoilage.
Yeah.
Zero.
Yeah, it's just not the same.
10% of all wines are corked. They have air gets by the cork, and the wine, with anybody who knows what they're drinking, knows that this wine is off and it's been corked. It's oxidized. With a screw cap, nothing. Australia, New Zealand, pretty much 90% of their wines are screw cap.
Philistines. That's no good for Portugal, is it? Right. Anyway. Okay, thank you for that.
Another reason we did it too, 3 or 4 years ago, there was a big problem trying to get good vinifera corks, because there was an infection in the cork trees in Spain and completely destroyed.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you couldn't get corks.
Organic for you. That's organic, isn't it, for you? Right. Well, if I just can say a few words about this one I've got here this evening. I was drinking fizz earlier on, a really nice Bairrada fizz that we started a new radio show earlier on today.
Yes.
And I opened it up live on air just to toast the start of new reality TV. I'm the only one in the house that drinks these days, so I was trying to do my best to get through that bottle and then moving on.
Well, Carl, you need to have a talking to with your kids.
That's true. I mean, they're not even trying to steal it when I'm not looking. And can you have a word with them? It'll come better from you, Johnny, next time you see him. Yeah. All right. Do the right thing, Uncle Johnny. So the Alentejo, and that's what I bought. I thought to myself, that looks good. There were a few with these dodgy graphics in the Intermarché, and I do like Intermarché's own brands. This you'll see in a bottle for sure. And they're very good. They're invariably good. This is okay. It's got the nose on it has a slight ammonia. I don't know if that's because I've been drinking fizz before, but there's a slight sort of ladies' hairdresser. The ammonia from doing the blue rinse.
The perming solution.
Perming solution. I'm getting top notes of perming solution. The strength, it tastes fine, but that's an unfortunate start to this.
It's why I opened the other one and put it in the glass a while.
Yeah.
I think that will be a really good idea to off gas the perming solution. It tastes fine. It tastes fine, but it's just that's an unpleasant beginning. But it's
so you need a good collection of decanters.
It's true. It needs a swirl, and it give us a swirl. Give us a swirl. Yes, definitely. But can't go wrong. $6.99 for all the reasons that have been said before. Let's go to our friends who are watching and who are drinking as well. The Bartons here. That's more like it. We like to see you as well as Mike and Karen. They're enjoying a wine. How is it? Let us know in the chat what that's actually like for you, if you will. That's beautiful. Thank you very much indeed. Pete, as ever, with some pithy comments, and one of them nearly made me spit my red wine out here earlier on. Nubianet, however, says, I wish I could find a good boxed rosé. I've tried a couple, but meh. There are a few good canned wines. California doesn't want us to save any money. Gary, go on.
Now, you see, Nubianet, right? As the rest of these guys know, I love rosé wine. I love my rosés. Because not too many people are, they're not greatly popular here. You don't tend to see them in boxes. Mm-hmm. So you mostly in sort of, your bottles and stuff. I don't think I can ever remember seeing one in a box, to be honest. But when they do a rosé here, it's nice. So next time we come over, let's do a nice little rosé together.
Fantastic. JMC, yes, our current wine is not. Is this generally speaking about Portuguese wines? Our current wine, or what you're drinking tonight, JMC? Tell us more, but lacks something, in my opinion. Now, this was the one that nearly made me spit my wine here. Can Gary give us a lowdown on how to use the box and some tubing for a cheerful evening enema?
Well, you see, Pete's got a long memory. He remembers my Sopiash effort where I got my take was is like the small little box of wine with a straw. Well, I upgraded it to that box that size with a big, petrol can type tube.
I remember that now.
Convinced I was going to get a wine enema. That's the way he perceived it.
Yes, he's got a funny mind, isn't he? The way he thinks is fascinating.
Sound like Pete. No, maybe I remember a bit harsh on Pete there, but that's.
And as I recall as well, and when I was pouring this, the jet was there again. The pressure was amazing, and I remember when you were pouring. The first time we had the box wine, that made us all giggle, didn't it? The splashing. It was like the scene from Naked Gun when he goes into the lavatory when he's still mic'd up. It sounds like that when you're pouring a box wine a little bit as well.
I do remember that, but I did kind of play that up because I remember moving the glass up and down from the tap just to get the maximum.
That's right, and then you stopped. And you started again, didn't you? You stopped a little bit of a couple of
a little dribble, and then we started again.
A couple of squeezes at the end. Right.
It comes out of that. A bag at 14 psi, that's a fair pressure.
It's true, isn't it?
I'm talking about the wine, or
you get some nice purple bubbles. Yes,
it comes out at 40 psi.
Right. I might need to go to the doctor. Right. Can we have a video of the recycling of the wine bags, Michael? I think that's worth making a video of. Says Pete there. Cheers, Gary, on that invitation. The rosés are very popular in California. It's great with food and mostly mild weather over there. I never thought I would say this about a box wine, but it's surprisingly good. Certainly not complex, but an easy, relaxed sipper. I mean, that's the 3-word catch-all for all of these tonight, isn't it? An easy, relaxed sipper. Not sorry that the rest of the box is in the fridge. So it might not even be salad dressing or for cooking. That bad boy is going to get drunk in Miranda de Corva over time. It would appear. Right. Thank you for that. Right.
So another good thing about box wines, when you go in to choose, you've only got a very small selection. So you're not standing in front of 500 bottles of wine saying, which one shall I buy?
Yeah.
Yes.
Which aisle?
Walking the aisle for 20 minutes and coming away with 2 bottles.
Yeah.
Yes, that's very, very good point there. Yeah.
Time saving. When you get older, you think about these things.
Yeah. You haven't got time to mess about standing in supermarkets.
It took me.
You've only got so much time.
It took me a minute and a half to make my selection.
Yeah.
Hello, Johnny.
It took me a minute and a half to make my selection.
Yeah, perfect. In and out.
That's how a man shops.
Yeah, right on. Okay, so let's go round, and then I've got a poll for you at the end to do with boxed wines. Clan Austin, can we have your final words on what you've been drinking tonight, and what you would say to the rest of the world about Portuguese boxed wines? Snog, marry, or avoid on the one that you've chosen this evening, starting with you, Terence. Let's go left to right.
Oh, definitely a French kiss.
Right. Okay. Nice.
Quite easily.
Right down to your tongue.
Yeah. Don't talk. Just kiss.
Just get on with
Let your tongue do the rest.
Like the Scout Disco back in the day. Very good.
It's marvelous. Come on. It's near the quality of bottled wines. It's not that far. Sometimes a little bit better. It's great, and it's reasonably cheap. I mean, what is the problem?
Reasonably?
Some of them are a bit rough, but you get that with bottled wines.
You do.
Let's not be too sort of up our own what's-its with this.
We never are we? In this club?
Hopefully, never.
Never on the wine club.
Never on the wine club.
No.
Hopefully, not.
It's our mission to avoid.
We're on a mission, and let's be faithful to the mission. It serves the purpose, and it's not a grand purpose, but there is, it's convivial. We get together, we have festas, parties, and it works. Yeah. No complaints from me.
That's what Pete's saying as well. Yeah, absolutely. And I've got a vision of you walking away from a boxed wine and looking back and saying, "Call me." It's that kind of relationship, isn't it?
I'll see you later.
See you tomorrow. I never really walk away from one.
Great, thanks. Gary.
Well, before I do that, right, before I go into my, I've got to tell John that I was in the supermarket today, right? And you scan all those beautiful labels and everything. You walk past all those graphics and everything, and then my eyes fixed on a bottle of wine, which completely sort of thought, one of those moments when you think, this is, which was an Ermelinda Pinot Noir.
Oh.
Hold on a minute.
He did the face. He did the face. He did exactly the same face as I did in the supermarket. It was like,
I do that.
So I've got to give that a go.
Pinot Noir.
Wow.
Huh. I saw it when I went to their vineyard growing there in the field.
The grapes.
So probably they've harvested a bit now and it's ready for consumption. So I'm going to give that a go.
I love Pinot Noir.
Well, will it be anywhere near the French version?
We'll find out. It doesn't like a black thing.
It might be better.
Well, if their Cabernet Sauvignon is anything to go by, I mean, that's a spanking good wine. That was Christmas dinner wine, wasn't it?
So delicious.
That was a real nice wine.
Lovely.
But yes, back to box wines. They are what they are. They are the Swiss Army knife of all wines, really. They cover all angles.
Yeah.
It's good for everything. So you're having a party, you just want a cheap wine or whatever. It does the job. It's never going to be remarkable. It's never going to be extraordinary, but it's always going to be fairly good and satisfying. So let's leave it at that.
Very good. Linda, what about you? How many glasses?
I'm going to go in for a Snog. It's
hang on. Let's cut it there.
Okay. Off they go. Excellent. Great evening. Very good. All right. Thank you very much. And how many glasses did it reach? Shall I come back to you?
Sorry, love. I'm sorry. You just surprised us all there.
Yeah. Very good. Very good. How many glasses, Linda, tonight?
It's just a very pleasant wine, and it's you want to keep going back to it. So yeah.
All right. Okay. It's like New Year's Eve Snog, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. Very good.
Yeah.
Just keep going back. Yeah. Okay. Very good. Right. Johnny Cocktail.
So I'm a fan, and there for many reasons. The convenience for certain, and to be a host and to have an array of these out. You could have a wine buffet for your visitors. Yeah. And I didn't seek. Maybe you can help me pitch in if there is a Bronco in a box and then how do you keep it cold? If you chill it, if it's out for, there's that. Yeah, but do you have to go back to the fridge and open it? Yeah. Okay. So that's not a deal breaker, but because I'm seeking out very Portuguese places to eat and getting the prato de dia, and this is probably the kind of wine that's ending up in my glass for €1. And so I'm used to it, and I like it. I've certainly had better wine, but at 15 times the cost. So this is an easy drink to turn back to. So thank you for bringing up this topic, Linda.
Yeah, it was a great choice of Kat, who we see in the. Thank you, Johnny. By the way, yes, Whitby House or Dry January. How has that been for you this evening? And do you have any further comments?
Yeah, putting this wine on your marriage scale, I'd either call this a midlife crisis or post-divorce wine.
Oh wow!
Can't afford that €9 anymore for a few months or years anyway. So this will fit the bill,
Right. Okay.
But what was interesting, we were just talking about. You asked us about what life was like at Christmas in Sevilla. When you go in and you just ask for a glass of red wine in a cafe here, they reach for the box and give you a glass of the wine. Every one you get in Spain is from a bottle, and they're typically a Crianza, a Rioja Crianza, and they're the same price. Even in where the toadstools are, the mushrooms, our hotel was literally in front of the mushrooms, and there's a cerveceria in front. And we sat down there in the sun, 20 degrees, and I asked him for a Crianza. He bought me a glass this size, full to here, and it was €2 in a cafe in Sevilla. I mean, you can't beat it.
London prices in the 1920s. In fact, did they have wine? Did they have wine in the UK in the 1920s? Probably not.
Oh yeah, Yates. Don't you remember Yates?
Yes, absolutely.
How to drink wine.
Porto.
I've got to intercede here, right? That English wine is now rising in popularity. And it's no longer because we can actually make a fairly good white wine. Not so good with the reds, but maybe the climate down south is just enough to squeeze out a fairly good white wine. So we're no longer a joke. We can pass out a fairly good white wine. I'm still look. I'm not ever going to deny my nationality, right? I will never be that.
Yeah, but I'm talking about niches here. That's what the schist slopes of Edgbaston.
No, that's a completely different. I think that might be the shit slopes.
Edgbaston's quite a good area.
Actually, yeah, Edgbaston's quite posh.
Yeah, that's where I went when I went to Birmingham.
The Duddeston Brew. That's what you want.
Yeah, Duddeston Brew.
Okay.
Duddeston Vineyard.
Okay, very good. Well, thank you for that stout defense there of British wines. And maybe, it might come to that one day that we have, we bring a wine from our country of origin to the wine club. That could be a theme, couldn't it?
Well, Penny makes her own champagne, doesn't she? And she's fairly defensive of it. So,
who's that, Penny?
Penny makes her own champagne.
She does.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Devon is a good place to start for sure. Yeah, the Pebble Bed Yard or something. I remember. Yeah, in Topsham or Topsam as the locals call it. They made some wine there, some white wine on those Devonian vineyards there. Very good. Thank you for that addition there, Gary. Anything else from the Whitbys? Well done on the dry January. Keep it up.
Yeah, thank you. We will.
Very good. Now, I've got a final question for all of you. And I want just a vulnerability, authenticity, full disclosure here. Who has sucked the wine out of the bladder?
This question had to come, didn't it? The bladder question,
didn't it? Now, because I asked the question, yes, I have. I have sucked the bladder. Johnny Cocktail, have you had that pleasure yet? Have you stooped that low?
No, as I said, that this is my first box. So,
okay. Do you expect to
later tonight?
Please send a selfie. Okay, very good. The Whitbys, would you stoop so low as to do something?
Well, being a lady, I use a pair of scissors and then squeeze out the bag.
Very good. Yes.
Yeah, no, I use a hose on the end. It's easier.
Really? Okay, a procedure.
Yeah, because you can hold it away then,
Okay. Thank you for being so forthcoming, everybody, so far. Linda, what about you? Or does Gary get there first?
We very rarely drink boxed wine, so I don't know whether he's ever done that. I certainly haven't. I don't know whether you've ever done that.
I think he's a gentleman. He does it privately, probably. Gary?
I think that's Terence next.
All right, Terence.
I want to save mine till last because I've got to do.
Terence, have you ever sucked the bladder?
Simply no. I have not sucked the bladder.
He would tell us if he had. He would say so. He would say.
What do you mean by drain the bladder?
You know, the last bit of
you squeeze it.
No, only to pour it down the sink to throw it in the old recycling.
That's very, very noble of you.
Oh, listen to him.
But no, I've never ever sucked the bladder. I think it sounds rather disgusting and a bit gay.
I feel chastened by your response. Okay, all right.
Right. You will now learn that if you don't suck the bladder, I've never sucked the bladder, right? But if you drain the bladder, right, into a glass, you will find that all the rubbish goes, in the bottom of the wine. It doesn't get decanted. That's where all the rubbish ends up. So that would be probably a mistake.
Really, a bit like the sediments in beers.
There you go.
Imagine the nutrition.
Imagine the trips to the toilet.
I think you could chuck it in a sup with the Pedra. All right, well that's good, and we'll leave it there. There's a few more comments. I wouldn't touch the hose after Gary has been at it. Johnny, please.
Johnny, that's one of his best.
Carl, I just sent you a WhatsApp. I don't know if you can pull it and show it, but it goes back to I was earlier in December in Seville, and we went there for Christmas markets, and for me it's a 2-hour bus ride. I can get to Seville faster than I can get to Lisbon, and it is a very great pedestrian city. We saw many sites. We walked, and we were there on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and it was jam-packed with very stylish, very attractive people, and everyone is having a pleasant, good time. But I must say, I want to drink where you drank, because I was disappointed, because this, I would say, would be a Spanish pour, where my typical Portugal pour is here for the same price.
Yes. Very interesting. I will play that video by way of a climax to this evening's Good Morning Portugal Wine Club. Any other comments before we go? Well, I think we're going to probably have a little bit of a lock-in afterwards. If you want the link for that, just send me a message or do come and join us. Anything else before we go? Anybody?
That last comment there from JMC, was it? Can you put that back up?
Oh, we must never. This sounds like Winston Churchill, doesn't it? We must never be satisfied with regular wine.
On the landing ground.
More mediocre wine instead of quality.
James, right, let's put that in context. Let's put that in context, right? Most of the mediocre wine here, right, is pretty damn good compared to most other places. And you always keep that in mind. I mean, there's so much good wine that you get starved of something really exceptional because it's all good.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then suddenly you'll come across, something that's phenomenally just different. So you're wowed by it. But if you face that off against anybody else's wine, it's all pretty good. It's like 95% of it's very drinkable. It's all good.
Yeah.
Very, very, very little is poor wine.
Yeah.
So that's a bit of an unfair comment. Most of Portuguese wine is pretty damn good.
Yeah.
I think
we look at it through that prism of like being spoiled, really.
Yeah, we are.
And let's be thankful because there's a lot here which is really, really good.
Yeah.
And we are criticizing, from a very high, I believe, standpoint. And even though we're talking about boxed wines, I think really internationally, a lot of these Portuguese boxed wines will stand up against bottled wine universally.
Not a lot more value,
you know, and a message out there to people is really
come and have a go if you think.
Come and have a go if you think you're hard enough. Yeah, I love that. You know, because they stand the test.
Yeah, very good. Okay. We're getting some good buys. We could talk all night about, and we've done great tonight. I mean, an hour and a quarter just sipping, drinking, chatting. This is what the Good Morning Portugal Wine Club is all about. You're getting the royal wave, everybody. Those bottles under €3 would be under $20 anywhere else, says Pete. Yeah. I understand. Nice review. Thank you, says JMC, responding.
And how lucky are we?
Yeah, that's it. We are lucky. We are.
Aren't we just that it's part of our daily bread and wine and lifestyle here in Portugal? A good point. On the evening that we found out that Chinese Terry went to finishing school and would never suck from the bladder, a little bit of a video for you. We will finish after this and have a little bit of a lock-in afterwards.
Guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. A little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP.